Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'll be reviewing True History of the Kelly Gang. So True History of the Kelly Gang is a film that is based on the novel, that is based on the actual events that dealt with Ned Kelly and his time as a bushranger in Australia, kind of an infamous criminal from this time period. And I was really intrigued to see how that they were going to film it, because I do find this part of history very interesting. I do also like Westerns, that kind of Wild West mentality of this almost turn of the century time, so I was really interested to check it out. Now, this film is directed by Justin Kurzel, who also did Macbeth and Assassin's Creed, and I did really enjoy Macbeth, and this definitely feels similar. It feels like in the same vein of that film, and in many ways it has the same issues that that movie has, because it does feel kind of inaccessible to a lot of people when you're watching it. It's very strange, it's cut very oddly. When you're watching it, jumps in time a lot, and it almost does feel like a play, like Macbeth did, where you have individual scenes. It's very well written, but written in a way that is almost hard to understand what's going on sometimes. But I will say the performances in this one were excellent. I think that George MacKay nailed the role of Ned Kelly. He is such a primal character, and his total change as a child, the molding of his life, becoming who he is, this infamous criminal, you get to see that. And it's something that's really compelling and interesting, seeing someone develop from a young age as someone who's kind of innocent, and then they slowly devolve into this person. And having that little case study is probably the best part of the film. George MacKay is definitely able to get across the animalistic nature of this person while still having a lighter, softer side to understand who he is, so you sympathize with him just a little bit. You know, at times it's hard to watch films that are about criminals or ruthless people, and then you have to humanize them to understand where they're coming from, and it does a good job with this. He has some real scene-stealing performances in this movie, especially there's a scene that involves a flashing of a strobe light, and it's flashing between him and his father and him as a child, and you're seeing this anger, this angst, this break out of him after a major event, and they do that a lot in this movie. They know how to cut the score out, cut the sound out, and really blend it all together to really push the pivotal moments for this person. And there's another scene at the very end, if you know anything about the history of Ned Kelly and kind of his last stand, his standoff that ended him. So that scene was really, really powerful, really well shot and executed. It's interesting because this movie has a lot of the same scenery, a lot of the same cinematography. It feels very small. The movie doesn't feel wide-ranging, and that is because it almost, like I said, is shot similarly to a play at times, where you're jumping from location to location or time to time without there being an in-between, any filler in between these things. And I think that helps with the pacing of the film. That all being said, though, I do understand how someone would find this movie a little slow, because it deals with some heavy topics. It deals with some information that you need to have from the external sources, because if you don't have any historical context for the movie, it's kind of strange and you don't really understand what's happening. Russell Crowe does have a small role in the film, but his role as kind of the young mentor for Ned Kelly is something that pushes the movie forward and helps you understand the character a lot more. And it's also very gritty for him. This movie as a whole is extremely gritty. There's a lot of really dark moments, a lot of really graphic moments, especially in the latter half of the film. So you definitely feel you're in this very isolated and dark, cold place that Ned Kelly came from. Just all in all, the acting is very visceral from everyone involved. You see a lot of breakdown scenes for a lot of people. You see a lot of anger and just torment with these individuals, specifically the actual Kelly gang themselves, the family, and their kind of bad lot in life. Nicholas Hoult, who plays Constable Fitzpatrick in this movie, also did a really solid job. He's kind of the foil to Ned Kelly. He's actually kind of the different side of the same coin, because he's not a great person either. No one in this movie really comes out looking that good, and it kind of shows the light and dark sides of all things. So I think they're able to execute that pretty well. There's also a lot of use of narration in this movie. Thomas McKay is narrating as Ned Kelly throughout the story, even in the very beginning when you have him as a young child, who has also performed really well as that actor. But I have to say, the use of narration does move the story along pretty well, and it's a pretty useful device overall. I also thought the score was really interesting. Like I said, there are times where the movie will cut out all external sound except for the score, and it seems to be the most pivotal moments in Ned Kelly's life, and it's very booming and loud, and you understand how uncomfortable the characters are feeling and how much is it impacting them, because it really impacts you as an audience seeing these huge orchestral swells during these actually very violent moments. So overall, I think I would give True History of the Kelly Gang an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really well executed as far as the acting, the cinematography, the overall scope of it, trying to get the themes across of, you know, masculinity and just kind of being raised and what it makes you being raised in these different lots. So I thought that was well done, but just the movie itself suffers from the same issues that I think Macbeth and some of the other works from this director do, where it's so esoteric at times, and it's so heavy and dark, and just the overall writing is so poignant that it loses something. I think general audiences might either be bored or confused when you're watching this movie because it is very strange. And I don't know how well it sticks to the source material as far as the biographical information. Overall, a pretty well executed movie, just not the most accessible thing in the world. Alright guys, so that's my review of True History of the Kelly Gang. If you checked out this movie, let me know what you think. Leave in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.